Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show. We've got the awesome, incredible Joshua John Miller. Hello and welcome to the Jimmy Star Show. Uh-oh. What happened?
Hello.
Oh, there we go. How are you doing?
I have no idea if you could see me or not.
Yeah,
Yes,
we can see you.
we can see you,
Okay, cool.
and you should be able to see us. And we see the poster in the background, and you look dashing as ever. And we want to welcome you to the Jimmy Star Show. And before we get started, let me introduce you to everybody. Starting off with my Hollywood vixen, Deidra Sarego.
Hey, how are you, Josh?
Hello. Hi, Deidra. Everybody, how many more people are there?
Well, there's the man behind the boards, Mr. Chad Murphy.
Hello, Josh from West Palm Beach. How are you?
Hello from West Palm Beach. Hello.
And I'm Jimmy Star, and we want to welcome you to the show. And we have a chat room full of people, so say hello to everybody in the chat room.
Hey, everybody in the chat room.
There you go. It works. So here's how this whole thing worked out. I want to tell you a little story. I'm
Okay.
basically when I started the show 5 years ago, I always thought it would be cool just to find people who I love their work through my lifetime, because I'm a lot older than you, but you did a lot of work in my lifetime that was really cool, and that's how the show kind of began. And so I always go looking for people who maybe in the 80s or 90s did something that was super, super cool that I liked a lot, and then I look them up to see what they're doing. And I was so happy to see, besides the fact that you're one of the stars of Near Dark, which most of the population thinks is the greatest vampire movie of all time.
I agree.
And to see that since the 80s and early 90s, you've done all kinds of stuff and you're having all kinds of success now, so I want to congratulate you on that. And we're going to talk about some of the things that you're doing now, but first we have to talk a little bit about Near Dark and some of the River's Edge and some of that that stuff that was life-changing for a kid in high school in the 80s. That was such really great stuff.
And as from the female's perspective, I have to talk about Teen Witch.
Oh yeah, she's a huge Teen Witch fan.
When that was coming, I was wondering.
There always has to be that one. If you don't want to talk about it, that's cool. But I did love that movie.
Well, thank you.
So Near Dark is one of my favorite vampire movies, and Lance Henriksen's actually a friend of mine, and we've had him on the show, and we've had Jenny Wright on the show, and it's a phenomenal movie. And I watch it all the time. I even have a bunch of autographed copies of it that I have on display. Talk a little bit about Near Dark. Did you enjoy it? How do you feel about being in one of the biggest cult vampire films ever made? And was it fun?
It's interesting when you talk about the biggest cult vampire movies ever made. The image that comes to me is about, I'd say, 5 years after the movie came out. Now, as you know, when it first came out, it was criticized. It did not get good reviews. Yeah. It died at the box office. It had this, Dilo De Laurentiis released it. DEG, I think it was at the point. And they had this really terrible poster. I think it was of Bill Paxton and just holes going through him and then the light. Not really the most nuanced kind of poster, I felt, as opposed to that great one of all of us on the ridge of the mountain.
Yeah, that's the good one.
The smoke and the shadows. That's quite beautiful. And of course, I'm sure Catherine would have preferred that. But I was on the beach in Santa Monica. It was summer, and I was going out with just a bunch of friends to go, be beach bums. And this family came over to me of 12, kids and, this father and wife and all. And he said, "You're in our favorite movie of all time, Near Dark. We've watched it we watch it almost every other day." And I was like, holy shit. Wow. This movie is going to have a long life. It clearly has become. There's a moment when something's become a cult classic, and that was the moment. And I didn't really understand about cult classics really and what they really meant in terms of the culture and how movies like that caught on. But it just seemed to be sort of a pattern of every movie I was ever in seemed to have that kind of following. And what's weird is that even people in my family were part of movies like that. So I was like, okay, this is just part of the a coming of age. You've now entered the B movie pantheon, but a good B movie, by the way, high art, high end B, obviously. Catherine Bigelow is such an artist, and I think working with her at such a young age, I was, I guess, 13 when I did that movie.
I was going to ask that, how old you were.
Well, one of the, when you watch the movie, you see like there's such a familial relationship between everybody in the cast, and of course most of them had just come off of Aliens, right? So they already had that sort of interpersonal dynamics already between them all. But she said, I want this to feel like a family, so I want us all to go out to dinners together. I want us to all go shopping together. I want us all to, fill in the blank. She just constantly was trying to sort of do this method acting, direction style. And I just felt it was incredibly interesting to see somebody take such love for her actors, have such passion, and be so detailed about building the world. She didn't want to just make a horror film. She wanted to make a piece of art. That was her goal, with all the levels and, aspects.
And look at her now. I mean, I don't know if that was one of her very first films, but, like, look at her now. I mean, now she's like...
The Hurt Locker.
She's like superstar, like...
She's a winner.
Huge.
And you know what? It's deserved because it's evident in all her work, and I learned so much about like filmmaking, watching her, and just all of it. So it was, I was very fortunate to be a part of something so cool at such a young age, because when you're that age and you're so young, it leaves such an impression, and it sort of has always been sort of the compass, the North Star.
So then you also, because like for me, like Near Dark and River's Edge are like such like another incredibly huge cult classic film with a lot of people who are very, very successful. I don't know how old you were in that. You play Keanu Reeves' younger brother. It's a great movie.
That came out in, 85? Was that?
No, 88.
88?
88, I think. 87, 88, yeah.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
How come I hear reverb, Chad? Hang on one second. Chad.
I kept it.
Oh, I was hearing like a repeat echo.
There's a reverb on me.
Reverb or repeat?
Oh, now it's gone.
Or is it back? Wait, let me talk. No, I don't hear it.
Okay, let's go back to River's Edge. Go ahead.
Another movie that was not, it's interesting, it also got a lot of bad reviews and a lot of great reviews. So it was very, as the poster said, the most controversial movie you will see of the year. But what was the controversy, what people got so up in arms about, was actually a very conservative reaction. They did not feel the idea of portraying youth being so apathetic towards death of their own friend. They felt that was a very cynical, dark, and unrealistic view of the youth culture.
25 years later, it's very normal now. Now this movie, if they were to actually have done the movie now, people wouldn't even bat an eyelash. They'd be like, oh, well, with all the shootings going on and this is just, it's actually mild. I mean, this is just a part of society now. It's a part of culture.
Exactly. I mean, now it would be a farce.
Yeah.
Or tragically so.
Yeah.
And then people were not aware of the deep, utter unrest of the culture at that point, about people feeling like they were in the middle class, but now the middle class was disappearing. And so the economics were like affecting the whole family, and then you weren't in the lower, you were now lower class and you had nothing. And so you had people that didn't have parents at home anymore. You had kids that were basically, left alone without any supervision.
That's true. Yeah. Also, it's funny because like Deidra was watching Halloween 3 the other day, and when she was watching, I was like, "Oh, our guest on Wednesday, he's in that." And she said, "Really?" And she was like looking it up, and then she looked you up, and then she skipped right over the whole Halloween 3 thing, even though she said she likes that one a lot.
I do like Halloween 3.
But she was like, "Oh my God, he's in Teen Witch."
And then I said, "Oh my God, that is her little annoying. That's her brother, the annoying little, and she turns you into a dog." I love Teen Witch. Was just, I was about, I think, the same age as she is in the movie. I'm 40 now, so I think I came out 1989.
Yeah, that's about right.
I was about 14 years old. So for me, the whole cheesy thing of the boy and casting a spell to make him fall in love with you, and you kind of feel like the odd man out, and you want to be popular, and you want to know what it's like to be the pretty blonde girl. So, for me at that age, it was just so poetic because it was everything every little girl, well, most little girls, thought of. And it's like,
I hate to disappoint you, and every gay man too.
Yeah, there you go, exactly, right?
Yeah, gays love witches.
Yes,
we do.
One of my best friends right now, Nick, is in the chat room, and he's listening to our show, and he's gay. He's my brother from another lover.
I'm her stepfather.
Sorry,
I'm her stepfather,
and my dad. Yeah, my dads are gay.
Yes.
So,
Your dads are gay? That is so cool. God, I wish I had gay parents. That would have been so much easier.
but it's true. And Nick loves Teen Witch, and we always do. I want to be the most popular girl.
Oh,
And then
you know, every once a year in San Francisco, a very famous, they do a drag show of different movies, and once a year they do Teen Witch, where they do a whole show in drag of Teen Witch right before the movie, and then at midnight the movie starts. And I went about a couple of years ago. They're doing it again this January. I had such a good time. I'm going again.
Good.
Are these you guys? Are you there?
No, we're here.
You're breaking
frozen.
up, but can I hear you now?
Oh no, now he's frozen.
Now you're frozen. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Shit, I wanted to hear that because that sounds
He's
fabulous.
coming back. He's coming back.
Drag queen Teen Witch. I want to bring that to New York.
Chad, do we call him or does he call us?
Oh wait, I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, you're here.
We just
Okay.
can't see you.
Hit your video button and see if the video will come back up.
I think it's his internet connection.
I'm not sure.
Oh, I want this.
There we go. Here we
Where
go.
we're going.
There you go.
There we go.
There
We
we
gotta
go.
come. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyson. All right, wait. So, Josh, what were you saying about?
Go back to Drag Queen
yeah,
Teen Witch.
I love this. This is fabulous.
So, but should we? Is the door closed? Okay, well, we'll figure it out. And you know they do it. It's going to be in January again. I think it's at the Castro Theater. In San Francisco. I mean, come on, it's amazing. And there's no greater sort of homage to one's work when someone's in drag playing you. That to me is like, okay, I did something with my life. You know, I made a mark. But it's a great show. Peaches Christ. I think he plays Robin's character. Oh God, what's her name? Louise Miller. Isn't that her name?
Yes, Louise.
And I'm Richie Miller. Yeah. So anyway, if nothing else happens in my life from here on in, I will always have Teen Witch. I'm okay with that.
I would have loved to that movie. I just would have loved it.
Chad, now I hear the echo
Now I hear
again.
reverb on myself. I'm hearing myself twice, and I don't know if I want to.
Is this all my fault?
No.
Or
No, I don't think so. We don't know.
The computers have
It's been a really weird day with computers today. I don't know, like
boards were weird. The computers were weird. I think Mercury's in
retrograde. But either way, okay. So you were a very young, successful actor. Then you go to college. You get an MFA in creative writing. You're like a genius. You go to Yale. You write a book. The book gets made into a movie. And I'm going to skip a couple of years because I want to talk a little bit about The Final Girls,
yeah, me too.
which is a new movie that I guess you wrote, and it's out right now because I read the reviews on it, and I didn't find a bad review anywhere. Everybody says this movie
They're
is
looking
awesome.
at the wrong places.
Oh, every review I saw was incredible. Everybody's like, this is a great movie.
Yes. I think, well, I mean, from the period of, I mean, do I need to bridge the period of college to Final Girls, or you just want to jump right to Final Girls?
Well, you can bridge a little of it.
I can talk about all the years drunk and doing drugs in Iowa if you'd like. But that got old after a while. So yeah, my life partner and I, Mark, who I write with, we moved back to LA about 6 years ago, and my mom, he wanted to write movies. I was no longer interested in working in film at the moment. I just wanted to focus on plays. And he said, hey, it was actually Teen Witch that brought us back. They were doing a remake of Teen Witch, and they wanted me to write it. And I went, okay, I'll take a meeting. And it did eventually happen, although it may happen in a different version for TV at this point. But at that point, it did not happen. And I was sort of like, get me out of LA, because I like to be in another place. I like to, just be away from home. My mom, lives too close to where I live in LA. And then my mom very smartly said, well, Mark really wants to be a writer in Hollywood, so why don't you stay here and support him? Translated, I want you here. I'm going to get you to stay here.
Exactly. She was working every angle she could.
Every angle she had. And we never even went back to the apartment we had just rented together in New York. So that was about 6 years ago. And Final Girls we wrote a couple years ago, and now it's in the world. So
first of all, you got a stellar cast, and I don't know how to pronounce all the names, but how do you pronounce Thaisa Farmiga?
Thaisa, yeah, that was good.
Thaisa, okay, everybody, you guys know her. She's from the first three seasons of American Horror Story. She's freaking awesome. and
Malin
Malin
Ackerman.
Ackerman, which I just saw in a Nicolas
We
Cage
love
movie.
her.
She's like super hot.
She's
Nina
stunning.
Dobrev, you guys, is in it.
My favorite, Bjorn Alexander Ludwig from Vikings. Yes.
Yes.
And Adam Devine, who he's in the Intern, I think. He's the guy from the Intern, right?
Yes, Adam did.
Yeah,
yes,
he's like
Adam,
one of the main guys in the new Intern movie.
yeah, and Workaholics, the show.
Yeah, so like you gotta have a stellar cast. So it has a stellar cast.
Someone really great. You missed Thomas Middleditch, who's the lead on that HBO show about the computer guys in Silicon
Oh
Valley.
yeah, Silicon Valley.
Oh, I want
There
to
you go.
see that.
It's a stellar cast, and can you like give a brief synopsis? Because like I don't want to like say too much and like ruin the plot, but it's got a really cool plot.
Well, oh gosh, what can I say? Without giving it away, a group of friends go to an old movie house. They're playing an 80s campy slasher film. There's a fire that starts in the theater. There's nowhere else to exit. You know, our lead girl, Max, has it in her mind that there must be an exit behind the screen. So they run towards the screen, hack through it, and as opposed to actually exiting the theater, they enter the 80s slasher movie.
Oh, I love it.
Awesome.
That's cool.
But the twist is that the woman who is one of the leads in the slasher movie is the dead mother of one of our main female characters, Thaisa Farmiga. So she's reunited with her dead mother, who is a scream queen.
Nice.
But it's not really her mother, but it is her mother.
Right.
And so it's sort of like Purple Rose of Cairo. We used to pitch it as it's Friday the 13th meets Terms of Endearment.
Okay.
Okay.
Two different, totally tearjerker and slasher, combining the two. We can do that.
And
I
guess
think it's
what?
maybe.
Most people go, oh, no way. You can't have people cry in a slasher.
Absolutely.
I hear people constantly are telling us how moved they are by the movie, and I'm like, that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to terrify you and make you cry.
I know. I see everybody, and I think it just recently kind of became for sale, right?
Yep.
Because I saw Cool Duder is this like guy I follow on Instagram and Facebook, and he's this guy who like lost 250 pounds in a year, and he buys 50 movies a week, and like he was like saying this is the best movie ever. That's how I like found out how good it was. So it's through him, and then I Googled it for all the reviews, and like everybody, just gave it really, really stellar reviews.
I can brag a little bit. Can I brag a little bit?
Yes, absolutely.
You make a movie, right? And you, as a writer, how do I put this? It's never what you want it to be ultimately if you're not directing it. It always goes through some kind of alternative metamorphosis. So what is ultimately projected on the screen is hopefully the essence of your script and then something even better. And look, I have issues with some of the movie, and it didn't totally I would have preferred an R rating. I would not have preferred a PG-13 rating. But besides that, I think the idea is you finally see something brought to life, and you have to get to this point of like, thank you for just letting me have something in the world. Thank you for just letting me have at least 50% of my vision existing with an audience. That being said, I think what's phenomenal is that people have really connected to the movie, even though maybe they'll complain there's not enough gore or there's not enough, whatever, fill in the blank. But, on opening night, one of the coolest things that happened was that Quentin Tarantino was in the front row. It was at the Vista Theater here in Los Angeles. He had been tracking the movie for weeks, and he wanted to see it. And of course, I made sure that when the movie was over, I was right outside the theater, so he couldn't exit without me going, "Hi, I wrote this fucking movie. You have to talk."
What's your opinion? I'm dying to know.
And he really connected to the elements that I most love about the movie, and that was vindicating, to say the least. Right. And to just, you work in a room, if even that, some tiny room in the dark, trying to write something, and then to have the gift of having one of your idols, seeking out your movie in the movie theaters was that was all I needed. That felt like I had won the grand prize, and the Stephen King tweet was amazing, and there was been so much love, and that's the best thing about it. Did it get as big enough release as we would have liked? No, it's so interesting that the studio was really scared to give it a big release because they don't have faith that movies headlined by women in horror will be able to find an audience. And I just call bullshit. That's not true. Women go to the movies. Stories about women are interesting to women, and they're going to go see it. And you don't need to marginalize the distribution platform for a female-centric movie.
I agree 100%.
Well, that's why we
I
shift
think-
Hollywood more into a woman's perspective and a woman's way.
Absolutely.
Sexism is very alive in filmmaking, and it's really torturous for women, and it's really restricting and unfair and aggravating.
Well, what they wanted to. There were times when New Line was the first studio. It was our first script Mark and I wrote, and New Line was the studio, and they wanted to totally strip away all the sort of feminist sort of underpinnings of what created the whole movie. And it's all about female empowerment, and it's all about interpersonal relationships among women. And they were trying to strip all of that really sort of like, I would say really the DNA of the movie away, and we had a fight to maintain it. So you're right. I mean, the sexism in Hollywood, or everywhere really, it's not just Hollywood, look, it's a white patriarchal business ultimately built by white patriarchs. But I think things are shifting, but the point is to be even louder now to create that. And you have people like Paul Feig, who we've been working with on a project, who's so wonderful and champions the underdog and wants to make movies, about taking female comics. So they think, oh, female comics. Who's going to see a movie about, a woman and her wedding?
Mm-hmm.
Why is anyone going to go see that movie? And then, of course,
Bridesmaids kills it.
Yeah, oh my God.
Okay, so then, first of all, I want to tell everybody, if you guys want to know what else is going on with Joshua, you can follow him on Twitter at JoshJohnMiller. The name of the movie we were talking about is called The Final Girls. I know it's for sale everywhere. I don't know, does it have its own website that you can, or is it on Netflix or anything? You just go to stores.
I think you can go to Amazon, iTunes,
yeah,
wherever.
So get it everywhere. Anywhere
Just
digital
Google it.
download stuff, you guys just Google it. It's called The Final Girls. It has a really stellar, unbelievably stellar cast. We've got like 5 minutes left. Real quick, I know that you're also, I guess with your significant other, you're the co-creator and executive producer of Queen of the South that's going to be coming out on the USA Network. You're allowed to talk about that? Because I don't think that's not out yet, right? Is it out already?
Wait, can you repeat the question? I lost you a little bit.
Okay, you have Queen of the South. Queen of the South.
Queen of the South is a very famous novel from Spain that then became a telenovela in Mexico and Telemundo, and it was the highest rated, ever shot, telenovela ever in Mexico and all through South America. And now we took not the telenovela, but we took the book and parts of the book, but we've really invented a lot of it now and have adapted it to be for America on USA. It'll be out in 2016, I would say March or April it'll premiere. It's starring Elise Braga, who if you don't know, has been in, I'm Legend, and she was in Elysium, she was the lead in.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, great Brazilian actress. She plays Teresa Mendoza, who is basically the wife of a narco guy in Mexico, and he runs afoul of the cartel. And part of the rules in cartel is if you run afoul, then they have to destroy your whole family. Right. So the first hour of the show is just her on the run to escape Mexico, and the rest of the series is going to be her arriving in America and her rise to becoming a queenpin of her own. So it's basically the most crass way to describe it. It's a Latina Scarface.
Love it.
Excellent. Nice.
Love it though. How you're doing all these shows with all these strong, empowered women.
If you ever need a 40-year-old actress that doesn't look 40, I can play 27 to 40. But the fact that I am considered a 40-year-old actress, hey, keep women in film.
Absolutely. I also think I think it's I guess I'm happy that you're member of family.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
Well, I grew up, people said, well, why would you want to write, why are they letting you write this show, Queen of the South? And I said, look, this is my way in. I am not an undocumented Latina in America, but what I can identify with is that I grew up marginalized, under the threat of discrimination, did not have equal rights as a gay man. These are all elements that I can identify with. I was also brought up by a lot of women. And so women in trouble and women fighting men and oppression has always been something that's a big theme in our work and our sort of my interest in general in life. So I was like, I can write this because I know how to psychologically access all of that.
And we all have a little queen in us once in a while.
They call Mark and I the queens of the South.
Okay, there you go.
I love that. That's cute.
I love it. So I want to just again congratulate you. I'm so happy that your career is taking off again, and that you've been working, and that I'm excited that we had you on the Jimmy Star Show, because the stuff that you've done has really been influential and stuff that I love. And I have copies of everything, like all of them. I have them on VHS.
Well, it's
Still.
nice now, because now we can follow you as the lovely adult man that you are, and the intelligent and the creative man. So now we get to see the other dynamic of Josh. You know, we know him as a child actor. Now we get to see all of his creativity as an intelligent adult. So
Yeah, I love it.
nice.
I love
That's
it.
the coming of Josh.
I love it. So we want to thank you for coming on the show, because we've only got a minute left, and we want to thank Tyson for helping set this whole interview up, and we want everybody to follow you on Twitter at Josh John Miller. And if you guys haven't seen any of these movies we were talking about, go watch Teen Witch, River's Edge, Near Dark, Meet the Hollowheads, Halloween 3, and The Final Girls, which he wrote and is now available with a stellar cast. And look out for Queen of the South coming out next year on the USA Network. And read the Mao. How do you say Mao game?
Mao Game, yes.
The Mao Game, a novel he wrote, which is also a film, I guess, right?
It is, yeah. And actually, in Mao Game, the book, I talk about, it's fictionalized, but I talk about shooting near dark. And they get a kick out.
There you go. So we want to thank you for coming on the Jimmy Star Show. We wish you all the best of luck, and anytime you have anything to promote, we'd love to have you back, because it was a lot of fun, and love to have you back on again when my husband's on the show with us, because he's not here today.
Well, hey, I look forward to it. Keep me in mind. I'll be here. I'll be writing. I'm in my writing room right now, so I probably won't leave here for the next 10 years.
Okay, and say hello to your significant other for us, and that we're happy that you guys have a happy life together, and we'll talk to you soon, and good luck with everything.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
That was awesome.
So awesome. Yay.
Chad, that was nice. Even though we had a few technical problems, that was
Yeah.
pretty good. Chad?
I'm so used to the technical problems now.
I guess so, too.
They've just become.
Son of a motherless goat!
Thank you. Exactly. Oh.
So you guys
That's
really
good.
need to check this.
Up here and there, but you always have good guests, which makes the show good.
Absolutely. You guys really do, too. Anybody who likes horror movies, you have to see Near Dark.
wanna
I'm not
see
kidding
it.
you. Near Dark is the best,
I haven't
coolest
seen it.
vampire movie ever.
I can't
You
believe
guys have to see it. We want to thank everybody in the chat room for tuning in. We'll keep you posted. Next week we might not be live because I think that's when we're going to be going to the funeral, but I'm not positive, so we'll keep you guys posted. In the meantime,